everyone, and here we are at Hutt Indoor Sports for the men's grand final between Australia and New Zealand. You can see the teams just entering the court. We're on standby for the national anthems of both countries, ahead of what shall be a fantastic game to conclude the 2014 Indoor Cricket World Cup. Australia advanced to the final earlier by virtue of defeating South Africa in the major semi-final. And here we are with the Australian national anthem. Hearing your country's anthem ahead of a big final. Here we are with a New Zealand anthem. What a moment for the New Zealand players in front of their home crowd. One of the great national anthems for sporting occasions. God defend New Zealand. We will be on standby now for the haka. Kelly. If that doesn't get the players and the crowd in the mood, I don't know what will. We're now on standby for a massive final of this World Cup. I'm Cameron Walter. I'm joined on commentary now by Scott Styris. Scott, what have we got in store here?
Well, hopefully not a lot of what we've seen already with the under-20s and the women's. They've got good scores on the board and put too much pressure on for New Zealand's liking.
Well, I can't say I agree with what I hope as an Australian, but we'll see what happens. For those of you that are new to indoor cricket, it's a very simple game. It's all based on the fundamentals of cricket. Both innings will last for 16 overs. Each batting pair will face 4 of those overs. Each player will bowl 2 overs within an innings. When a wicket falls, the batsmen stay there. Instead, they lose 5 runs. Another unique rule is that the score must change every 3 balls. So if a batsman faces 2 dot balls in a row, the next ball, the score must change. That can come either in the form of a run off the bat or a stolen single or an extra. You'll also note on your cameras when we take a wider shot of the court that there is a exclusion zone marked on the court around the batsman. Fielders have to stay out of that exclusion zone until the batsman has played a shot. Now, like every final so far today, it looks as if Australia will be batting first.
Yeah, that's been their MO so far. I talked about that not long ago. They post a good score and then put the opposition under immediate pressure, and then it's proved too much to come home strong. You start having to look for the back net, for the 6s and 7s and the 4s, and if that doesn't happen, then they seem to win quite comfortably.
I think unlike the other finals so far, I expect this one to be a lot closer. I think that once again 100 is probably the sort of score that Australia would be looking for at least. And based on the games between these guys, these two sides, especially more recently, Australia are quite capable of defending that. So I'd suggest that would be their target, to get to 3 digits and then defend it.
I think you're right. It's been a good even contest, hasn't it, so far throughout the tournament. It's been a lot more competitive than potentially it has been in the past. South Africa are a very good side now. Wales are coming through, and of course New Zealand and Australia have been around for a while, so all bodes well for the sport of indoor cricket. But I'm looking forward to this. The Men's Open final is always a good battle. Australia have dominated this open grade, going unbeaten, but that's got to change at some point.
It does, and I have to say that with every World Cup it gets less and less certain that Australia will walk away with the biscuits. This year they've certainly shown that they're quite capable of doing what every other Australian team before them has done, and won the World Cup. To get their innings started, we have Rob Fitzgerald from Queensland and Vinesh Bennett from the ACT. These guys have been a solid combination throughout the tournament. Exactly the sort of experience that Australia need to get their innings off to the right start. At the same time, they've been around for long enough that the New Zealand team will know their games inside out, and I dare say they'll have very specific plans to bowl to these two.
Yeah, that was my first question to you. How much does the combination come into play? The two batsmen knowing each other, watching the women's, watching the under-20s. I've been really impressed with the communication between the Australian batsmen in particular. I think the way they're able to not only use the verbals of the talk and whatever, but they're able to keep their eyes on each other and sometimes not call or call just simply by looking at each other. And I think that's been half the reason why Australia's been in front. But with the men's grade,
exactly the same applies. Trust and eye contact. Unfortunately, it occasionally results in someone running their partner out, but their trust is still there.
You just got to accept that, don't you? Sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's your mates. In all forms of cricket, of course, that's the way, but when run-outs happen more frequently, like the indoor cricket game, you just accept it and move on as quickly as you can.
We've got a minor delay here. I'm not sure what the issue is. The players are certainly ready. This match will be officiated by umpire Jason Rhodes, who has long been the standard of umpiring at the international level. proud to say that he's an Australian umpire, but oddly enough, he's here as a New Zealand umpire at this tournament. A little bit of a quirk, but
How does
glad
that
to
work?
have him here. He was nominated by New Zealand, and here he is.
Yep.
We'll just try and get some information on what the delay here is. Not quite sure. It's a little bit anticlimactic. We'll get underway shortly.
It could help the Australians, this. We've seen 2 previous matches here, and the New Zealanders who've been fielding first in that have been in a bit of a frenzy. The crowd's got into it, and Australia's been able to silence them with their play. But this New Zealand side looked a little bit calmer. They're not jumping and running around and making a lot of noise. And with that, they've probably taken the crowd out. I mean, they're just sitting there in anticipation and waiting. Whereas in previous matches, it's been jumping and hollering and very loud.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we're ready to get underway now. Vinesh Bennett will face the first ball. Good delivery to start, played flat from Bennett for 2 runs. Now, I understand that delay was a result of the New Zealand team suspecting that Vinesh Bennett has got something on his shirt to help him slide better. I'm not sure what that's all about, but...
Seems a little bit strange, doesn't it? I mean, you would think where the game's at now, they would have material that would help slide a little bit better.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have to add any artificial...
Both shots so far from the batsmen have been flat. That one was, well, not lucky, I suppose, but that deflected off the fielder to go high into the net for 2. Now, I do note that the New Zealand captain, Lee Kelly, is not playing this match. So I'll be interested to see who's captain of the New Zealand side today. Vicar Davies is the captain of New Zealand. Phenomenal shot from Bennett. You'll notice, Scott, when Vinesh Bennett dives, the angle that he has his bat on, he has his wrist up and the bat pointed down, so it decreases the chances of the bat popping up when he's going across the crease.
And that's those 1%ers you talk about in every form of the game. He dives a lot, which I can understand now why the New Zealanders would have complained.
A little bit of gamesmanship there from New Zealand, waiting until the final to mention the issue.
Good delivery from Dudunsky as well. He's just rolled his fingers across the seam. First few have been outswingers to the right-hander.
A bit of a misfield there from New Zealand. They've let that get through for 3. There's a good example of that eye contact and trust from that call. Vinesh didn't look at the ball, looked straight at Rob Fitzgerald, who called him through for the run.
Yeah, it almost seems height-based, doesn't it? That was about a metre above the fielder's head. He called straight away. In the end, they made it comfortably.
A good call. And through for a single with 2 balls remaining in the over. Good confident start so far for Australia. Final ball of the over now. And 2 dots to finish. So 9 runs from the over, but they will be on 3rd ball to start the 2nd.
Yeah, it's good cricket. New Zealand would have been happy with the way they finished that over. Australia, once again, like we've seen in previous matches, they've taken the front court out of play. They've played well to start off with. And they're both teams just feeling their way into the game, but I think Australia will be probably the most comfortable. Haven't lost a wicket yet.
May have had a score correction there. It's actually 10 runs after the first over. Sharma will bowl the second over for New Zealand, and it is third ball, so again, the score must change on this delivery. Very flat from Bennett. Hard enough into the net that by the time it bounced back off it was out of the reach at Hyman. It's through for two.
Yeah, and this is an example here where the game's changed. We've always had a traditional 2 men on the off, 1 on the leg. But Sharma looks like he's going to keep it at the body. Unless he gets it wrong.
It allows
and he's got 2 men now on the leg side. One, it's a short square leg, or they're, you know, and a mid-wicket. So already we're seeing some tactics from New Zealand.
Edge through Bennett's legs. A dot.
There's a little bit of a cutter again. Something different to previous grades. It's taken quite a few overs for the bowlers to change. The New Zealanders have gone to them straight away.
Good use of the feet from Vinesh Bennett. But a flat shot again. So New Zealand are doing well to give their field an opportunity. Australia up to the task in terms of finding the gaps so far. Leg side there, 2 easy runs for Australia. Rob Fitzgerald has been a presence in the Australian side since 2003. This is quite likely his 5th World Cup. Vinesh Bennett first played in the World Cup in 2009. So this will be his 3rd. Plenty of experience between these two batsmen. Another great shot from Bennett.
Clinical again. It's good disciplined cricket from Australia. It's a hallmark of their play. They always seem to hit the top of the net. Taking away this fielding prowess that New Zealand has.
Good delivery there from Sharma to finish the over, but 11 runs from it. Australia looking good after 2 overs, 21 runs.
Yeah, they'll be more than happy with the start. If they can carry on this rate, 40 would be incredible, especially as you've already mentioned that 100 would be a good score. So if they get anywhere between 30 and 40, that's an advantage Australia early.
And exactly what Coach Ross Gregory would be asking of this pair. 2 of the most experienced players in the team. So level-headed.
Do you think that's why they're opening? Is there a skill to opening in indoor cricket as much as outdoor, or is it an experience thing?
Experience is absolutely essential. As much in outdoor cricket as you're expecting your openers to want the ball to come on a little bit more and be able to deal with a newer ball. That's true of indoor cricket. So these two meet all the criteria. They certainly tick all the right boxes. It's like Bryce Fellows will bowl the 3rd over. Through the hands of the fielder. Ward, is it? Should have held on to that. New Zealand, if they're going to win this match, they need to take those. They need to keep Australia to dots. That will create the pressure.
Yeah, well, and look for some change of pace here from Fellows.
That's very, very fortunate for Australia that didn't result in a wicket. The shot from Fitzgerald popped straight back into the keeper's hands. On his swing, he missed the stumps. Here we see on the replay, straight back into his hands, and he was just too far away from the stumps. Shot from Bennett, good use of the crease to get back there and hit that for 2.
Fellows with the intended in-swinger, but Bennett was waiting for a little bit short of a length. Top of the net once again, very clever batting.
Fuller delivery, and again through to the back net off the side net, so that's 4 runs. See here the delivery full and off, deflected off Vinesh Bennett, so unlucky there for New Zealand. Australia will certainly take the runs. It's a phenomenal shot from Vinesh Bennett. On the leg side for 3.
Yeah, it's a clinic, isn't it? Fellows sort of missing his length a little bit. We've seen a full toss previous ball and a half volley there. He's taken some good options with slow leg cutters, but he's really got to find his length, otherwise it's easy, as the Australians are showing.
Well bowled, well batted, well fielded. But the key for me out of that delivery was the fact that Fitzgerald didn't move. He knew he didn't quite hit it hard enough, that he was on his way. He stayed there. There was never a chance of him being run out.
And that's the first time we've really seen the New Zealand fielders in play, so it's good cricket.
And a great shot again from Fitzgerald. Brings the over to an end, and Australia, incredibly, are on 36 after 3 overs.
Yeah, great start. New Zealand in a bit of a huddle at the moment, trying to figure out how they can slow this down.
I think you mentioned earlier, Scott, the crowd aren't in this game yet.
No, and that's always, I think, the #1 task early in a match for the opposition, especially when it's the home team playing. And so far they have. The women and especially the men's under-20s, they got off to a flying start. And what ends up happening is you sit there and you wait for something to happen instead of generating it. So somehow New Zealand needs to start generating a wicket or 2. If they can do that, then things will start picking up. They can keep Australia somewhere in this 35, 36 with a 0 over. Then they've pulled it back a little bit, but at the moment it's all Australia.
Joseph bowling now for New Zealand.
He's the wicketkeeper, of course, bit of a swing bowler.
You would have seen on our coverage just before that over started, Rob Fitzgerald looked off screen and asked the question of the Australian staff, what has Joseph got? What does he bowl? A lot of that analysis happening throughout the tournament. Good cricket all around there.
Wonderful fielding.
Absolutely. Bennett actually very lucky to get back in time.
You can understand the Australians not knowing some of the players. New Zealand's had 2 crucial injuries in the tournament, so some players that perhaps haven't had as much game time.
One of those injuries comes in the form of Henderson, who's actually missing the final after injuring himself in the preliminary final last night, which is a real shame for New Zealand. He's had a red-hot tournament. Another great shot from Fitzgerald. These two just batting with so much confidence now. After the start they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. 42. Still 4 balls to go. This is just the perfect start the Australians were after.
You can see Bennett mouthing to himself, this ball, as he takes a single. Sign of a good batsman, just focusing on the next ball. He's not going to care that they're on 40 odd at the moment. Just focus on this ball. get through.
Well, they're in bonus territory, aren't they? Every run, he doesn't even have to hit the side net. Every run they get, it's more than they were hoping for.
Another 2 runs to the total. 2 balls to come. Australia are on 45. The look of determination in these 2 guys' eyes as they tell each other to hit 2 runs. They want this. I noticed that New Zealand in particular throughout the tournament have always appealed for that. I mean, that was never out, but you never know when an umpire might give that out, suspecting that it's come up off the batsman's shoe.
Especially with TV cameras and for the final, they can review, of course, now.
Yep.
So you can just check.
A single to finish, and Australia have posted 46 runs for their first partnership. Robert Fitzgerald and Vinesh Bennett have done the job for Australia. What a phenomenal start to this final.
That's clinical, isn't it? I can't recall a dismissal in there. Because of that, it's just as good as it gets.
Perhaps the only chance when Rob Fitzgerald played it into the back net and went back to the keeper's hands. Other than that, chanceless innings.
Yeah, it was perfect. And the men's grades for Australia have certainly shown how you start a match, because now they've got major advantage.
And if you're the New Zealand team, after having 46 put on against you, and you look up and you see Lance McDougall, another veteran of the Australian side, and Mark Rice, who's a little bit newer, but an absolutely phenomenal bat, they've got a job to do.
Yeah, and the good thing is, from a New Zealand perspective, is they're in a huddle in the corner, just slowing things down. Sometimes you can just sit there and say, well, you know what, let's just start again. Once we get our first out, we can reassess and we can try and put some pressure on. It's a good thing for them that they've got 2 new batsmen in. 2 guys who are looking to get into the game. New Zealand's had 4 overs. It's an opportunity now for them to have a good partnership.
Look at that, 23 runs each to Vinesh Bennett and Rob Fitzgerald, which is perfect. Are you on now? Are you on now? 8.
Where does this Australian side rank with its experience? Well, how many of these guys were here at the last World Cup?
The last World Cup in South Africa, the captain, Vinesh Bennett, Rob Fitzgerald, I believe the strike batsman, Lance McDougall, was there also. Off the fielder's foot, Joseph may have hurt himself there, throwing himself at that ball. Body's on the line. Mark Rice is out. There's the first wicket to fall in the Australian innings. Shot was too flat. Straight to New Zealand hand off the net and a direct hit, and Rice would have been well out.
And that's what we were just talking about. 2 new batsmen trying to feel their way into the match. New Zealand's front court have had 4 overs to get their iron. And that's a brilliant piece of fielding.
A leg side there to follow the wicket. It's exactly what New Zealand would not have wanted.
Mark Rice, 3rd most runs in the tournament to date.
He's a quality bat, is Mark Rice, as he just shows there with a 2 off his legs. Obviously he doesn't have a lot of height about him, but doesn't let that stop him. He's just got a good eye, hits through the ball, full face. Good to watch. better from McDougall. Similar shot to the one that he played when Rice was run out. This time it was well high. No chance for New Zealand to affect the run out.
Yeah, crucial last 3 balls, isn't it? New Zealand can get one more wicket. They'll feel like they're well back in this match. Australia can bat sensibly, and then they'll feel like they're rolling on. So good even start to this partnership.
Good call from Mark Rice there to run through. Mark, of course, from New South Wales. Lance McDougall here is the Victorian captain. So a leader, has captained a few games during this tournament as well. Some confusion there with the Australian batsman. The shot went to hand. We're going to review this.
Mark Rice looks quick.
He's very quick. I actually think he should be home here, but if that's direct, no, it's not. He's home.
That's good work, isn't it, Mark Rice? There was an initial hesitation in the calling, and for him to still make it and get through, it's brilliant.
That's a case of Mark knowing that he was heading to the danger end as well. So eventually, even though Lance McDougall stopped in the middle of the pitch, Rice knew that he was the one in danger and backed himself to get home. Hyman with 1 ball left in the over. Rice will face. Still very aggressive running from the Australians, and it's working for them. Managed to claw back to 4 runs from the over. After the loss of the wicket, that's a good effort.
Yeah, it is. New Zealand were after wicket in the first couple of balls. They got it. But the Australians regrouped nicely. And they'll take that as a bit of a win to collect 9 runs, really, off the rest of that over.
Just when we talk about the home crowd being a little bit quiet, same can really be said of the Australian tourists that are here. They'll be happy with the start that the team's made for them so far, but I think they get the sense that New Zealand are going to be in this game, so probably don't want to get ahead of themselves.
Well, we do talk about it being a home crowd, but all the other teams from the tournament are here as well. So
Correct.
You've got a lot of the English and the Singapore team and the Indians. So it's probably not as much of a home crowd as you would initially think.
And it's probably fair to say that all those other countries, rightly or wrongly, would be interested in seeing New Zealand win. I think a lot of people have had enough of seeing Australia win the World Cup. Can't say that I have. It'll never get old for me, Scott.
Well, Australia is our main rivals in pretty much every sport.
Yes. Let's just not talk about the rugby, please.
That was close the other day.
1 point. Brilliant. It's another leg side from the acting New Zealand captain, Victor Davies. Needs to step up here. We'll need a big over from him.
That's a good shot, that. To most cricketers, outdoor cricketers, they see that as a half volley. But he didn't go through it with the shot, did Mark Rice, and he's just used the surface to bounce that up nice and high, collect his 2 and get down the other end.
Good fielding there from Hyman. Was in the air, got his hands down low to still get the ball.
We'll see a little bit more of Victor Davies later in the match. He's the leading run scorer in the tournament.
Is that right? The entire tournament?
Yeah, and comfortably too.
Incredible.
He's got 90 runs. 90. When you consider that number 3 on the list has 196. He's got 90 more than number 2.
Incredible. Victor Davies continues. Last ball. For a dot. So not a bad over, 7 runs, especially considering I think two of the first 3 balls were leg sides. He's bowled a couple of dots there. Kept the batsman honest.
Yeah, 11 runs off the 2 overs of this partnership. I think New Zealand will feel like they can keep this to 20. And then the next partnership to 20. And they're semi-likely to feel like they're in the game. I mean, 100 we thought was a good score. It's going to take a lot of work from the New Zealand perspective when you consider that 46 was the score the opening pair put on. Victor Davies has sensed an opportunity. Dunsky here coming back for his second over already. He opened the bowling to start the match.
I don't mind this move. It's obviously does a bit with the ball. Be aggressive. He starts with a wide, signalled by umpire Jason Rhodes. Rhodes joined in the stand by Napier Stewart, who'd be scoring the match, assisted by Andrew Hall-Villiers, who's assisting with the scoring for the coverage.
So communication we're talking about. McDougall got a good ball there. He was very quick to tell his partner that the run wasn't on. Send him back.
Phenomenal shot there from Lance McDougall. How calm does he look? Just cool, calm, collected. Gee, he looks like he could have a nap right now.
Well, that's the experience you're talking about, isn't it? Australia's sent out their big guns early in the experience department just to settle their whole side down, and it's worked.
New Zealand captain want to be careful there, getting in the path of the batsman, and warned accordingly by the umpire. If you're not fielding the ball, you can't do that. Can be. Talking about sending the guns out early, there's still some batting to come. I tell you what, I mean, I'm not 100% on who the Australian 8 are, but if I were a betting man, I'd tell you that Lyle Teskey and Reece Dearness will be batting third for Australia, and they are a phenomenal batting pair.
Well, that's what makes them a champion side, isn't it? There's no noticeable weakness. Strong throughout. And when you couple that with the experience that 3 of the first 4 have already, it's the reason they're a tough nut to crack.
Ball's gone to hand off the shot. It's still through for runs. Final ball of the over now. This move hasn't paid off for New Zealand yet. Two runs again for McDougall.
It's a good over from Australia. 10 more off it.
The total just keeps building.
It's going to be tough now for New Zealand to hold Australia to 100, isn't it? It's going to take something special. Australia being extremely disciplined with the basics of the game.
New Zealand might sense an opportunity in the final batting pair for Australia. That's likely to feature 2 younger players, so they may think they'll be able to get on top of them, but if they walk out with a score on 100 plus already, they won't be batting with much pressure. And it's the last thing you want to do as a fielding side is wait until the last pair before you strike.
Nick Ward, the new bowler for New Zealand.
Top ball to start.
You could consider Nick Ward one of New Zealand's strike weapons. He was actually the bowler of the tournament at the Nationals. So I think Victor Davies, his skipper, has turned to his strike bowler and said, it's time now. We need some wickets.
Well, Lance McDougall struggling to get him away so far, so illustrating your point quite clearly. It's now 3rd ball.
Score must advance. Every 3rd ball, 2 dots.
McDougall up to the task. That ball a little fuller, a little slower.
Yeah, it's not the ball you want, is it? A big full toss, knee-high full toss. And you've got the batsman under a little bit of pressure.
Don't want to be bowling that to someone of Lance McDougall's calibre. Good call there from Mark Rice. Ball was in the fielder's hand pretty quickly. Great shot from Rice. Again, just shows why he's a class batsman. See the keeper trying to fire the side up. They need a little bit of fire about him right now.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? When you've made a start like this, those 50-50 decisions on whether you take the run, it's not worth it, is it? Because they've made the inroads, they've got themselves to a good score. They can only ruin it with a couple of dismissals to finish what's been a good partnership.
2 balls remain now. Through for runs. Final ball now. Mark Rice will face.
26 so far. That's what you'd expect in a normal partnership, isn't it? Somewhere around that mark. Just shows the class of that opening partnership from Australia. 46.
And a dominant shot from Rice to finish the partnership. Takes them to 28 for the skin and the Australian total to 74 after 8 overs.
Yeah, well done. Nice from Australia. They fought back well after losing a wicket. 2nd or 3rd ball, I think it was. Once that happened, they calmed themselves, collected themselves. Played good, disciplined indoor cricket shots, and really New Zealand didn't have another sniff.
Exactly right. I understand Scott's taking a break from commentary now. Will rejoin us later in the game. We're joined now once again by Craig Cumming, who's been sitting here alongside us watching the game as well. What do you think so far, Craig?
Oh, I've been thrilled, to be honest. Real challenge. Australia got off to a great start. First partnership 46. I thought New Zealand fought back well then. They got that crucial run out, but I think so far Australia have been pretty happy sitting on 74. But you can certainly notice the intensity. You can certainly notice how driven both teams are. One of the things the Australian batters that have caught my attention is the ability to keep the inner fielders away from the ball. They've been able to hit the ball into the ground high, get it up to the springs. And New Zealand got some tall timber in close, but they haven't been able to get in the game. And that just eliminates a real big part.
You'll notice, you can see the bowling figures there, that one of the strike bowlers for New Zealand, Michael Dodunski, went for 20 runs without taking a wicket. If you can silence your opponent's strike bowlers, you're in the box seat.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes strike bowlers have the ability to, they can pick up wickets, they can create pressure, but they can also go for runs. I suppose that's what a strike bowler's all about. Australia would have been aware of that, and it would have been part of their game plan. But, you know, the Australian way is to attack. And sometimes when you get a strike bowler, you can take him down, you take the rest down. I thought they did that very well.
Davis faces his first ball, gets through for a single. That brings the Australian captain, Lyle Teskey, onto strike. Leg side.
One thing I noticed talking to the Australian captain pre-match and had an interview, he looked very calm, looked very relaxed. He said this is why they've come over here, is to play in these finals. He talked about being a young group, but he believes they've got the experience and the skill set to be able to take it out. So
he spoke about how calm he seemed. That's certainly one of the attributes of his game that I've noticed observing him over the years. I saw it in our national final in Australia earlier this year when Queensland played Victoria. Pressure game, and he was calm the whole time. Just kept doing the basics. He's a very, very experienced cricketer. He's just got better every year.
yeah, and you want that from your leader, don't you? You need your leader to be able to. It's such an emotional game. You know, the teams get up, they get down in the field. You know, there's a lot of high-fiving, clapping, but it's about the ability of actually staying quite neutral and be able to think clearly. And if your skipper can do that, that's really important.
2 runs.
New Zealand will be a little bit different. They're disappointed, I think, at the front court. Their accuracy with not only being able to get the ball in their hand, but also their throwing has probably let them down. Maybe a couple of half chances. Maybe a little bit anxious going at the ball being a final. They're a little bit...
Great shot from Dennis.
I'm saying that you get Dennis just there, just hitting the springs. Just keeps them out of the game. So now they get anxious. They want to get in there more so. Look at the old hard hands. Doesn't matter whether it's indoor or outdoor.
On the leg side. Seems to me that a number of these New Zealand fielders are waiting for something to happen rather than looking to make something happen. And that's a trap that's easy to fall into when the runs are flowing for the other team.
It's the strength of batting first, getting runs on the board, isn't it?
I think that all 4 Australian World Cup sides have been very fortunate today. It seems to me that all of them won the toss.
I was just going to mention that, winning the toss and batting first. You know, there's 2 rules of thumb. You can bat second and you're always in the game. But in a finals, being able to get runs on the board and mount that pressure on the team coming out to bat second is just huge. It means you're always batting because you've got something in front of you and you've got to aim for it. Whereas when you bat first, you just play each ball on its merit. You end up creating the total, which is a lot easier to do when it comes to your processes. Another thing, I've watched Australia very good at walking away. They've got their mental processes. That's all they're focused on. Batting second, you're always looking at the scoreboard. You're always having a comparing, how far am I away from where I should be?
And then when a wicket falls, what have I got to do to make up for that?
That's right.
Yeah. Good piece of fielding there from New Zealand. Kept that to a dot.
Yeah, maybe that's a wee opportunity again where hit the stumps and make the umpire make a decision.
Yeah. It's now 3rd ball.
Crucial for New Zealand now. They need to create a bit of momentum their own way.
Straight to the fielder. That will have to be out.
There's the opportunity, the pressure, the 3rd ball strike. Had to run. Good bit of fielding by New Zealand. They made it pay. Exactly what they needed to try and claw a bit of momentum back.
In Full credit to umpire Rhodes there, just giving that out. Didn't refer it.
That's
Confident in his call.
We've spoken about that during the day. Sometimes you games on television, you get the replay, you actually rely on it too much. Well, for a second there, I thought it bowled him. We're right behind the keeper here. I thought it was obviously very smart work by the New Zealand keeper, but I actually thought it was clean bowled. Oh, no.
The keeper taking the stumps certainly created that illusion back here. Teskey taking 2.
Yeah, they'll be working hard here because they know Joseph's not one of New Zealand's stronger bowlers, so unfortunately they had the run out. It's about clawing that back.
Great shot from Dennis. The ball ending up going into the back court corner. Dennis looking for the extra run. I think Teskey, not even looking at his partner there, I don't think Teskey believes that taking extras is really necessary at this point.
Just put it down to experience.
Yeah.
And not too carried away.
And on Rhys Dennis's part, youthful exuberance.
That's right, yep. Old age and cunning will beat youth and experience every time. That's what they say when you get older anyway. Yeah, good pressure too. It's always hard when you may be going out the bat with the skipper. You don't want to let him down. You don't want to be making mistakes, but it can also help you.
Another fantastic shot from Dennis.
Because you've got the experience there. You've got the guy to help you through if you're having a tough time, and that's what your partnership's about. Clearly, these guys do a lot of work together. They get to understand each other. It's a long tournament. It's a big week. Spend a lot of time out in the middle.
Joseph not that happy that he didn't end up with a wicket there, throwing the ball back. I guess in an effort to intimidate Lyle Teskey, who didn't even move, ended up hitting Hyndman.
Yeah, I don't think his keeper's too happy about that. One of those ones, the old end of the fingers.
Yeah. So Australia now, after 10 overs, are on 90 runs and really well placed for a significant total here in the final. This pair, well, you would think if they keep going the way they're going, they'll walk off the court with a score on 110.
Yeah, well, they've put on 16 so far and they've lost that wicket, so they're looking if they can score another 20 runs in the next 2 overs. You're sitting at 110. Then New Zealand will want to play catch-up in that last 4-over period. They will be wanting to get wickets. They may risk some things. Australia, I'm sure, with the experience they got, will be able to benefit. You just get the feeling New Zealand need a couple of things to go their way. They need a couple of quick wickets, backed up by a couple of dot balls to put the pressure on the Australian batters.
The Hyndman to bowl his second over.
Yeah, one of New Zealand's stronger bowlers. It's got a good off spinner as well with a slow ball.
Through the field. It's one of the risks when you're in the front court if you jump to try and stop a down-up shot, that you have no balance. So if the ball is going either side of you and doesn't hit you, you can't really do much about it. Whereas if the fielder there was on his feet, probably could have stopped that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Great shot from Lyle Teskey. Another 2 to the total.
Yeah, just using the pace, playing it nice and late and getting that high bounce. And they've been able to do that most of the innings, hence probably the reason the guys in the front court are jumping, because they actually haven't been able to get the game. So even there, that was a wide one, swinging away, but still to be able to get bat on it, you put it in the back court. No fielders there, it's a simple run. New Zealand just haven't been able to build pressure yet, just with dots.
Well left from the Australian captain. And again, telling Dearness we don't need to sneak a run here.
No, they headed wide. A lot of swing, but there's no point swinging that far if you're not controlling it.
Hyman obviously not happy with the call, but I certainly, from where we're sitting, it was a wide. That said, we are on the other side of the pitch. Flat. Just not going New Zealand's way at the moment, is it?
No, there's the opportunity. There's what they've been searching for. During the day, the teams that have been winning the games, the Australians, have been able to pick up these sort of run-outs. It was an opportunity, well out, both ways, keeper and direct hit. New Zealand were able to take it. When you're playing a very good side like Australia, every half chance needs to be taken.
Dearness beaten.
I just wonder if he's bowling a little bit wide. He is swinging the ball, but if he could get that shape from about middle and off stump, Dearness would look maybe to go leg side. The swing comes into play.
Not sure if that was an attempted change-up, but full toss, waist high, dealt with 2 runs.
Yeah, it's just continuing the momentum. These two have played very well. The key was to continue on the good work. With the two partnerships before them, they've been able to do that. Brought up the 100, 10.7 overs. Once you get those 3 figures, you always feel good.
Single to finish, Australia 102 after 11 overs. This pair well on track to take us to a score of over 110 after 3 batting pairs, which is in a World Cup final, in the men's division in the World Cup final, huge. The last time these two sides met in the World Cup final was in Brisbane in 2009. And on that occasion it was 55 to 44 Australia's way. That was New Zealand batting first, low total of 44, and very, very nearly defended it. That was a phenomenal game. So, score with this many runs, it's not a common thing in a World Cup final.
Was that a case that at that time maybe both teams had strong bowling attacks, or was it just the pressure of the final?
I think that particular occasion, New Zealand absolutely bowled and fielded out of their skin. They really did, and regular wickets, run-outs, just kept the Australian chase pegged back.
Sometimes that happens, doesn't it, when you're chasing a small total as well. You never quite get yourself in. Nick Ward's coming on for New Zealand, bowler of the tournament at the Nationals 5 weeks ago, so his confidence will be high. Really important over for New Zealand. Here's a good example of the outswinger, but being a little bit straighter. It's hard to free your arms. You still can't go leg side into the net there. You've got to hold your shape. Ward giving the ball a really good shine, trying to get it nice and warm. Continue the swing.
Incredible shot from Dearness. Using the crease position he got himself into to be able to play that.
You're right, because the line was very good, just slightly too short, only slightly. But Dearness' footwork was excellent, open up the leg side.
Captain beaten. Good delivery there. Dot ball.
You can see while he was the bowler of the Nationals, he's got a lovely line, gets nice swing. Not express pace, more medium. But to be able to control.
Hasn't gone right for him there.
No, he's got greedy. He's tried the in-swinger.
Yeah.
The change up the other way.
And in the last over of each batting pair, any wides, leg sides, no balls can be re-bowled. Understandably, the Australian captain saying, yes, thank you, sir, I'll have that one again.
It's always interesting, isn't it? You've got a guy bowling big outswingers, and then he tries to bowl a big in-swinger when maybe just the straight one, the cross-seamer, will do enough, because the variation's actually the one that'll go straight, let alone trying to bowl the miracle in-swing. So maybe a little bit of inexperience, maybe a little bit of greediness, maybe the fact that they're trying to chase the game.
Two runs there. I wonder how much New Zealand are therefore missing the on-court leadership of Lee Kelly, who has been around forever, basically, and isn't in the 8 for this game. Take nothing away from Victor Davies, who, by all accounts, is a superb leader and a future permanent captain of the New Zealand side. But when a game's getting away from you like this, someone like Lee Kelly can help rein the New Zealand side in.
Well, it comes back to that experience factor, doesn't it? Sometimes you've been in different situations, you know what to do. You can talk to your troops and be able to pull it back. You don't look too far ahead. All of those things.
Final ball now for this partnership.
It's been a great partnership, currently sitting at 39.
Two runs to finish. Incredible partnership once again from the Australians. On 115 with 4 overs remaining, Australia are in a dominant position.
Yeah, they certainly are, and the teammates will give these two a real big tap on the back. They've played exceptionally well. Lost the 1 wicket, the run out. They put that behind them very quickly. And there'll be a lot of joy and excitement now when the score gets up over 100, 115 currently. They know now every run they score, just putting even more pressure on New Zealand. The partnership's 46 for the first one, 28, and then followed up with 41. Very, very impressive.
2 partnerships of 40 plus in a World Cup final is absolutely phenomenal. Take nothing away from the 28 scored by, excuse me, by the second partnership. Incredible batting from Australia. And New Zealand, no answers. Only 2 of their bowlers claiming a wicket. And all of them going for plenty of runs.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they haven't been able to join the dots together. They haven't been able to put the 3-strike rule into place where they put pressure on Australia to make decisions. They did it once in that last partnership, and they got the run out. So what's happening is Australia are confident. They're getting their noses in front of the game. I'm also noticing from the body language, and having been here all day, there's so much excitement in the field. There's so much belief in the fielding teams. Most of the time, New Zealand look a little bit resigned at the moment. Their shoulders are a little bit down. There's not the same enthusiasm. They're all looking at the scoreboard, which means they're starting to get worried about that.
Davies bowling here to Travis Baker, who, despite being young, is actually playing in his 2nd World Cup. Baker's batting partner is Matthew Floros. This is his 1st World Cup, having been called into the Australian side last year for their tour of Singapore and Sri Lanka. And a misfield there for 3 runs.
And that could be the difference there. You make a good stop, you keep the pressure on 2 dot balls. He misses it, all of a sudden it's 2+1. The batting team feels confident.
Matthew Floros would be fairly happy with that for his first shot in a World Cup final. 2 runs off his legs.
Well, it's always interesting, the last pair turn up today. They either get the chance to put a little bit of cream on the top, or they also know they could be batting to win the World Cup. So it's a very, very tough position. While they'd say they'd love to be batting to win the World Cup, I'm sure if they had to go out and get 30, it's always a nervous time. Whereas here, they can relax, they can just go out and they play each ball and its merit. They know if they can pick up 20 Australia are going to be sitting around 140.
Far too full from Davies. Dealt with ease from the left-hander Baker.
Just had word through from the Australian camp that Dennis could have hurt an injury. He's getting some attention, so they'll be hoping that there's no problem there. Can you tell us what happens if with an injury you can't take the field?
Yeah, if Dennis isn't fit to field, then Australia can send any substitute fielder on that they deem fit. When it comes to his overs, New Zealand will have the option of picking 2 bowlers to bowl 1 each of those overs. Now, if that does happen and we end up with something close, the benefit of that for New Zealand is that they essentially dictate who bowls the final 2 overs of the innings. Good start there, 10 runs off that over. See Floros and Baker conferring with each other there. Whilst I'm sure that they're nervous, they're looking relatively relaxed. Of course, it helps coming in with 100 on the board.
Yeah, well, that's right. But again, as I talked about before, they can also come in being 90, chasing 120, and they need to win the World Cup, needing 30.
Yeah.
New Zealand chasing the game. They'll have their plans for these 2 players. They would have talked about it. They picked up an easy 10 runs in their first over, the 13th of the match.
Fellows' first ball driven by Baker, no call. Baker thinks he may have missed out on runs there.
The Fellows currently New Zealand, the most wickets for New Zealand in this World Cup. That's well bowled. Wee leg roller. A little bit from people around New Zealand know Chris Harris, very good indoor cricket player as well.
Well, Fellows had a pretty ordinary first over, so far this one's a lot better on 3rd ball here.
An opportunity.
Yeah, really well bowled. Very smart from Baker. He ran at it and just blocked it in the end.
Yeah, if he can get his length right, it'd be very hard to play. You can't just play the line and just hit through it or look to hit the net. You've got to watch the ball and see if it turns just like that. Bounce, not a lot Floros can do with that. He's going forward, but he can't just hit through the line of it. He's got to wait to see the bounce, the turn. Let's see if we've got the in-swing variation, maybe just to change it up.
It's wonderful work there from Floros. We're down up for 2 wide of cover. Matthew Forrest is the captain of his state team back in Australia. A young leader of indoor cricket. A miss hit there from Baker. Fellows bowling well.
Yeah, he is. He's the first one really to show a lot of variation and actually be landing on a good length, keeping the batters guessing. So another half opportunity for New Zealand there. Davies with the slap, but he couldn't get it on the wickets. It's a very good shot, though. Baker just waited for it. Not easy to go against the spin and put it through that backward point region.
Not sure what the no ball was for. Looks like exclusion zone.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so from the cover fielder, I would suggest. So again, the white circle that surrounds the batting crease, fielders cannot enter that area as if it were an invisible wall until the batsman has played his shot. So that's cost side 2 runs there. A little bit too aggressive in the field there.
I think it was Dudunski who got in there. He wasn't happy with the call. He's having a bit of a yarn to the umpire, asking if it was him, and his words were that was a little bit tough.
Not sure if we're able to see a replay of that ball, but New Zealand have been certainly throwing themselves as early as they can into that exclusion zone. So when you play with fire, you get burned.
Rather them than me, I tell you. So we saw a good collection in the women's final. And the Australian players got the ball right on the nose, I think it was. Wow.
Claire Koski, yeah.
Yeah.
Single there to Floros.
I also went and found out, I watched her bat. And I thought her bat looked very big. 2 pounds 10 apparently.
Massive.
Huge. I don't think I could lift it.
Great fielding there from the captain.
Yeah, New Zealand needed more of this over the period of time.
So that's an example there where Davies has timed his jump to react to the shot rather than just blindly jumping and hoping that the ball hits him. Key difference in front court fielding.
It's a little bit like batting, isn't it? It's throwing your hands at the first line when the ball comes out. When it's swinging, you've actually got to wait, see the ball, and then you can react. I actually think New Zealand's probably had its best couple of 3 overs with the ball. Pitch it.
I think that was a chance.
I think it was. I called it myself just because I'm used to watching. Hit the bat. Went up into the net. There's a chance for a catch, but it would have been unlucky. So there's good Australian support here. Questioning whether I'm actually in Wellington.
2 runs to Forrest. Well, I think a lot of Australians benefit from the fact that it's just across the Tasman. Here's that shot again. Yep, up in the air straight off the bat. That's lucky to fall safe. So it's, yeah, fairly cost-effective. A great shot from Baker there for the supporters of the Australian sides to come on over.
These two have put on 26 so far.
Australia's total moves past 140.
Yeah, it's getting
looking daunting.
It is looking daunting. We've seen in the finals, we've been watching the under-20s, the women's team batting first, which has been Australia. They've got big totals, and the pressure that puts on. It really has been a masterclass of batting in indoor cricket. Being able to hit the ball on the ground, get the bounce up to the nets, into the 15th over, 143.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Australia's only lost 1 wicket so far in the innings.
I think 2.
Was the run out? 2 wickets, that's confirmed. There you go, 2 wickets.
My trusty pad's working.
Oh, good, you've got that. No, the 2 wickets throughout the entire innings. That's just phenomenal batting. Level-headed, ball on merits batting. The captain now will bowl the penultimate over of the inning, the final over of the innings, in fact.
Is it?
Flores to face. Through for a single.
I'll be really interested to see Australia's bowling, because one thing I think New Zealand may have lacked is a bit of pace as well. The change-ups are good, but we know when you get quick, fast bowling and it's accurate, creates a lot of pressure. Also creates anxiety.
I think you'll find Australia certainly not hurting for pace. The man on strike, Travis Baker, probably one of the quicker bowlers going around in indoor cricket.
Why does it not surprise me that Australia got plenty of pace? Wow, good awareness there. There's a chance. Ball rebounded back towards the bowlers' wickets. In New Zealand, they're trying to hold themselves up here, but I think they are feeling quite downcast. They keep looking up the scoreboard. There's a lot of faking of the clap of the hands.
Easily seeing off third ball there.
The key is they've got to be able to drop it at half-time. They've got to actually formulate a plan of how they're going to get the total they're chasing, and then just go out and try and execute it.
Another single to Floros. Score slowly ticking towards that 150 mark.
Interesting to see as well, Australia all wearing the Australian cricket emblem, so it's the indoor team is affiliated to Cricket Australia.
Correct. So in Australia, Cricket Australia is the governing body for all forms of cricket, including indoor cricket. So you notice not just the emblem, but the uniform that they're wearing is identical to the Australian T20 side. So Cricket Australia fully supportive of indoor cricket as the fourth format of cricket in the country, and a perfect platform for junior cricketers, for female cricketers, as well as a way for all cricketers to sharpen their skills up. As Australia finish on 149 runs.
Wow, it's amazing effort. These two have put on 34 runs together. We go through the partnerships, 46, 28, 41. And the final one, they'll be ecstatic. As the guys walk past us, there's a lot of high fives, there's a lot of back slapping going on. They'll feel they have got more than enough to be able to take out the 2015 Indoor Cricket World Cup. And New Zealand, they're getting together in a huddle. Let's have a look at the partnerships now. And a great start between Bennett and Fitzgerald of 46. And backed up by everyone. The one to me that was really Teskey and Dearness, 41. They played exceptionally well. The skipper led by the front. That's why he's got number 1 on his back. And Baker and Flarus brought them home with 34. So 149 for the loss of only the 2 wickets means New Zealand's going to come out and get 150. All the New Zealand bowlers tried their best, but they're all very expensive. Joseph was probably the best. 2 overs for 13, along with Victor Davies.
And, I mean, beyond Joseph and Hindman, as well as Davies there with only 13 runs, none of the New Zealand bowlers really stood out for me.
No, I thought they tried, but I thought their lengths were a little bit short at times. Then they got too full. They were able to allow the Australian batters to do the down-ups to get the ball nice and high, which in hindsight, they couldn't bring in the fielders. Too many extras. They just couldn't build the pressure. You can also put that down to good batting. Simply that. Sometimes you can look at the bowling and say, we didn't bowl well, but you've got to turn around and say, well, I thought the batters did an exceptionally good job. I think New Zealand lacked a little bit of pace. Looking forward to the second innings to see the Australians, what they've got.
Well, 149 is about 50 odd more than I thought Australia would have been comfortable coming out on. New Zealand
a lot.
have got a mammoth task in front of them. Having seen them throughout the week, I certainly don't think that this total is beyond them, but I do think it's unlikely against an attack the quality that Australia are about to put in front of them, to say nothing of the Australian fielding, which is the standard as far as indoor cricket fielding goes.
You're not giving me a lot of hope here as a New Zealand supporter. As a commentator, I'm very neutral. I'm happy to watch, but they've got quick bowlers, they've got great fielders. You think they've got 50 more than they would have taken. I think it's going to be a tough effort for New Zealand to be able to come out. The great thing is you've got everything in your own hands. But New Zealand have got 16 overs, which, you know, if you divide it up, they basically need 9.5 runs per over. They've just got to formulate a plan. How do we get 9.5 runs? Well, the first thing we've got to do is not lose wickets. We've got to make sure that we don't keep going down in five-run blocks. The other thing we've got to do, we've got to look to hit the side net, and we're going to have to hit the run very well. So that's New Zealand's plan. Australia's job will be, well, at the end of the day, they're only got to win by 1 run, but they'll be wanting to do it a bit more comfortable than that.
I'm sure that Coach Ross Gregory will want it to be a little bit more comfortable than that, for sure. We have Ward and Hindman with the big task of opening the batting for New Zealand, as we see Craig Cumming taking a break from commentary. Will be rejoined shortly by Scott Styris. The Australian fielders are getting ready. They'll be very confident. But it's fair to say that despite such a high total, there's still plenty of work for them to do. We've seen totals like this get chased down before in indoor cricket finals. They certainly can't just go out there and expect to win. They have to take the World Cup away from New Zealand. They've done half the job. 16 overs in the field to do the rest. As we're joined once again by Scott Cyrus. Scott, as a New Zealander, how are you feeling right now?
Not overly comfortable, to be honest. It's what's termed as over par, I think. And really, if New Zealand's any hope of winning, they need to get off with a more than solid start. I don't think they need as many as 46, but I think they just have to take the sting out and make the Australians feel like this is going to be a battle and this is going to be a good contest.
Now, Rhys Dearness is obviously out in the field, so the injury concerns over him. He's pulled up fit, so he will bowl the first over of the New Zealand innings. Hindman to face. First ball is a leg side. Australian captain Lyle Teskey appealing for the stumping.
One advantage, sorry to jump in there, one advantage that New Zealand does have, the two leading run scorers in the competition. We touched on it very briefly with Victor Davies when they were in the field, but Stacey Hyman, the second highest run scorer of the competition with 202 runs.
That certainly helps when chasing a total this big. And Australia take their first wicket off the second ball. Shorter ball. Hyman trying to get on top of it to play it down, chopped it onto his own stumps.
Well, it's not what you need when you need a big score at the start with. Good delivery. Tried to play it late. Drop it down to the pitch. All he's done is succeeded in getting an inside edge. And Australia continue this dominance.
Dot ball. So important for Hyman now to just move on from that wicket. New Zealand have to have some belief. If they've got two of the leading run scorers in the tournament, as you say, they need to back themselves here. They scamper through for a single.
Yeah, it's good running that, because it would have been ball 3 coming up, so they've taken away that. But it's very easy in a final especially to get ahead of yourself. And what I mean by that is if you're chasing a big score like 150, you start looking at that total and think like you have to make it all happen yourself. Well, for this pair, all they need to concentrate on is making sure they do this partnership well. Leave it to the next blokes to do the same thing, and then the last pair can worry about winning the game.
Rhys Dearness well and truly producing the goods here for Australia. His second bowled wicket in the over, the first over of the innings. Australia currently have a lead of 157 runs.
Perfect Yorker. If anything, Nick Ward was a little bit late on it. Attempts to try and practice the shot, but damage is done.
Good response there from Ward. Good to see. Beats the bat. One ball remaining in the over. It's been an all but perfect over so far.
Yeah, what it's proved is that no matter what version of the game, if you're bowling good length outswingers, you're going to be tough to play. He's throwing in the odd Yorker just to mix it up. And at -5 with a ball to go, New Zealand are in a hole.
Rhys Dearness, take a bow. 3 for -10 off the first over in a World Cup final. That is incredible. was almost an identical dismissal to the second ball of the over.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to say he's late on it, but I think it's a deliberate ploy to try and just hit the side net for 2. That's a top quality over. And once you've got the momentum of a good score on the board, you're really trying to finish the opponents off, and to start like that just means that New Zealand now really have to play out of their skins.
Mark Rice will bowl the second over for Australia. New Zealand through for a single.
Just looks medium pace at this point. Might be an opportunity to try and get back into the match. I know the ball's new, and if it's going to do anything, it's going to be now.
Lance McDougall, one of the best leg side fielders getting around in the game at the moment. You see how quickly he gets onto that ball and throws it with some force back to the top. It's going to put doubt in the batsman's mind about taking off for a run.
And that's a good tactic from Rice, because he's bowled a little off-cutter there, and if he's a gun fielder and on the leg side, and a lot of the ball's going to go to him. I've got to say, it's smart cricket. I mentioned earlier I thought he was late on a few balls, but he was definitely late on that one. For a guy who's medium pace at best, probably it shouldn't happen, really.
No. Collision there between the batsman and the bowler. Look, the reason it is happening is you find far too many batsmen trying to force a down-up shot. I mean, the reality is if it's there to drive it.
Yeah, I thought the Australians did that. They still, when they got the half volley or a ball pitched up, they hit the back court on the side net really well. It's not just about hitting the front court here. It's almost happened again. It was nearly a chop on simply because it's gone behind the point fieldsman that's there.
Could be a deliberate tactic per Coach Ross Greger's instructions, throw the odd short one in these guys. It's resulted in 2 wickets so far. There's a optimistic appeal there from Australia. I think they were appealing for a catch.
I'm enjoying the bowling. After watching his first ball, I thought this Rice was someone who they could target, but he's mixing it up beautifully. He's bowling out swingers and off cutters, not allowing either batsman to settle upon him. Cross seam like that would suggest another cutter. And there again, he's bowled a quicker one, so no predictability about what he's going to bowl. Only 1 ball to go, and the score hasn't advanced much.
Single off the last ball of the over, so 6 runs from it. New Zealand remain below 0 on -4 in pursuit. 150 runs.
Yeah, so at this point, I think the 2 batsmen have to reevaluate their goals. You know, they would have thought and talked about getting off to a good start. Maybe 35, as many as 40 would have been a bonus. The way the first 2 overs have gone, and they just need to say, well, if we can get to 20, we've fought back really nicely. It's going to take some work to even get to 20. There's ain't no bones about that. But again, it's always the problem when you're in a final situation. You just look too far ahead. Make the best of the situation. It's not gone the way they would like. Just take it now over by over and try and salvage whatever they can.
Australian captain will bowl the 3rd over of the innings to Nick Ward.
Which of these Australian bowlers is the one to look out for the most?
Well, a lot of them for different reasons. It's a missed opportunity there for Australia. Travis Baker's always considered a threat because he bowls quick and at you and moves it. Rob Fitzgerald has so many variations, similar to Rice, in that no batsman's ever going to get comfortable against him. Ganesh Bennett bowls, forgive the terminology, but filthy cutters.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
A lot of rubbish cricketers have bowled those in their time.
Oh, yeah. Mate, they go well. The captain himself has bowled 1 or 2 match-turning overs throughout the tournament. Just his experience as New Zealand get through for another single.
I'm enjoying the pressure that the Australians are placing on the New Zealand batsmen. Not only the 3 in the front court, but the 2 fieldsmen on the 3 line there. They're moving in nicely, and because the quality of the bowling's so high, it almost feels like there's 5 men on top of the batsmen who strike and strike.
That's exactly how we coach them.
Oh,
There should be 5 front court fielders.
that's the shot I was talking about. The Australians, I felt, did so well in that first innings.
Yeah.
If you're going to have those guys coming into that front court, the 2 guys on the 3 line, then that area of the field, of the court, is wide open.
They'll need plenty more of that. Two fielders on Hindman's leg side now.
At some point, as a batsman in all cricket, you're trying to look for predictability. 2 men on that leg side, it's a little bit unusual. You know that he's going to be bowling either in swingers or cutters, because you want to bowl where your fielders are to give you the best chance of outs. So there is an opportunity for the New Zealand batsmen to use the predictability of the bowler to their advantage.
These two doing okay so far to rebuild. If they do manage to get to 20 after the start they had, that's a fair effort. The 2 flat.
It's good fielding from Dearness though there, wasn't it? We talked in earlier matches about even what seemed like the most basic runs. There's still a stretch, and the New Zealanders have to keep running those out because the fielding's so strong.
Leg side to finish the over. New Zealand moved to 10 after 3 overs. Better over for them. I think they'd be aiming for 20 plus for sure to finish. It's probably worth them keeping in mind that one of the Australian pairs only scored 28. So even with a one partnership of 20 something, they're still in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And from being -10, anything from this point's a bit of a bonus. And the most important thing is that they finish this set well. Don't get ahead of themselves. And wickets, really. That will be the killer to finish.
And Matt Floros will be bowling the 4th over.
He's tall, very tall, so he should be able to extract a good amount of bounce off the surface.
Two fielders on the leg side once again for Hindman. In comes Floros. And leg side, 2 runs. Well played by Hyman. Took the fielders on, 2 runs.
And you've mentioned Baker as one of the main threats. If there was a bowler to target, in your opinion?
Yeah, well played.
We're having a review. Rob Fitzgerald proving why he is one of the best fielders in indoor cricket. This will be interesting.
Yeah, if this is out, I think the New Zealand coach will be livid. Always reckon. Yeah, it is. Always reckon if you're not diving and you're only just out, it shows a little bit of a lack of desperation. And in a World Cup final, that sort of thing shouldn't happen. At the start of the over, I mentioned the only way this can turn into a horror show is if they lose a wicket here.
Yeah.
And it's taken a bit of sloppy cricket for that to happen.
Look, in terms of which Australian bowlers they'd probably be looking to target, Matt Forrest would probably be one of them. I say that simply because it results in the tournament. He's gone for probably more runs than most in the Australian side, but it's situational. There's another referral. He's often bowled in situations where pairs are chasing skins and are therefore slogging. That sort of situation, so...
It's out. One thing I noticed in the first innings, just to interrupt you there, I'm sorry, is that the Australians looked to go when they got the height. And whilst that didn't go anywhere near look like towards the side nets, it almost hit the roof. And the Australians would go there.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't that hesitation, as we saw, he was able to come halfway down and almost made it back. If he went straight away, then they would have made the single.
Two runs for Hyman. It almost looks to me as if the occasion's got the better of New Zealand. Mistakes like that one, that sort of hesitation and not going straight away. They're the kind of errors that I wouldn't be expecting New Zealand to make in a match like this. Another 2 runs to the New Zealand total.
It's good fielding.
The last ball of the partnership now. Flores has bowled well, a nice tight over, created plenty of opportunities for his fielders. Although it's phenomenal run-outs that have, that phenomenal run-out that's created by the bowler, obviously.
Because of that height, he's able to push them back, isn't he, on the back foot? It means that the batsmen have a little bit further to run, simply because he's just able to get the bounce.
Really well bowled. That's 11 runs after 4 overs. New Zealand, well, they need 139 runs in 12 overs. And needed 9.5 and over when the innings began. That's obviously increased fairly substantially now. And Captain Davies is in now with Sharma, following on from Warne and Hyman. 5 wickets lost during those 4 overs for the partnership of 11. All the damage done in that first over from Dennis. 3 for -10. Incredible bowling.
Yeah, it was exceptional, wasn't it? The perfect start for Australia. -10 at any point in the innings is a killer, let alone the very first over, and let alone the fact that you need 150 to win. So from this point on, it's going to take something special.
Well,
and Victor Davies, yeah,
he's the man. There he is on your screen, the acting New Zealand captain. Travis Baker will be bowling for Australia. Going to have a look at this one. I see the Australian fielders indicating that they think Davy's bat might have popped up, which is why they're so confident in their appeal. Well, he's not even home. He's well out.
That's the big difference. This instant replay, it's always a lot closer than you think. I thought to the naked eye he was actually in.
Yeah, me too. I thought he was home easily.
But again, Australia's doing the damage in the first over of a partnership. And New Zealand's leading run scorer, in fact the tournament's leading run scorer, starts with a run out. New Zealand's other batsman, Shanil Sharma, only 18.
He's a big boy for 18.
Yeah, and this is his first tournament.
That's a brutal delivery from Baker. Davies just wore it.
Yeah, it's the pace you're talking about, isn't it, Baker?
That was the quickest ball. His first two balls were a little bit slower, and that was his effort ball for sure. Be a little bit unhappy that that ball left the court, so when the ball leaves the court off the bat, it's automatically dead ball and the ball's re-bowled.
That's a good run. That's what we were talking about earlier. When you get the height, just go. And both batsmen went straight away. Because of that, they ended up making it comfortably.
This over so far is fairly typical of how Baker's bowled throughout the tournament. He's often bowled so well that he hasn't got any wickets because either the batsmen or the fielders aren't up to it.
I think it's noticeable. He's able to get bounce. We saw it with Flores, but he's a big, tall guy. He's getting bounce, and what he's doing is hitting the top of the bat, and he can't get any power from that. So it's brilliant bowling.
A little bit too much width there. Sharma are able to deal with that pretty easily.
I know there's a lot of experience in this Australian side, but is it a young side or is it probably on the downside of their curve?
It's certainly a younger team, with the exception, well, there are 4 experienced players, the older guys in the team, the rest of them are young. The benefit is that Baker's a good example. He's a young player, but he's playing in his second World Cup. So youth doesn't necessarily mean inexperience. And Australia, one of the strengths that as a sporting, an indoor cricket nation we have is that our national competition is so strong. So even guys like Reece Dearness, Matt Floros, Mark Rice, who may not have played a million games for Australia, have been there and done that at the national level. And you can see that experience here. Mark Rice will bowl his second over.
It's a good shot. I think you can get a read. This is where New Zealand's experience comes in. Even sitting here live, you can see how his grip is. You can see the ball cross seam. He's not going to swing it if he's holding the ball cross seam. You know it's going to be a cutter. I think New Zealand needs to try and use that predictability. We'll see an example here with the up close. It's a cross seam ball again. That's a good shot.
Yeah, Sharma's a talent. I think he's got a big future if he's only 18. He can be a fixture in this New Zealand side for many years now. Some instructions there from Coach Ross Gregory to Baker in the field as Rice moves to around the wicket. Smart batting.
That was an example there. Seam up. He got the ball to swing nicely back into the left-hander. New Zealand's going to need Victor Davies. He's actually, as we've mentioned, the leading run scorer in the tournament. Guess what couples with that? He's hit the most sevens in the tournament with 14.
14. One would expect that he'll be looking to add to that today. Done well to get through for 2 there. Sharp there from Australia. You'll notice Lyle Teskey, phenomenal indoor cricket keeper. Not sure if our coverage will be able to illustrate it. You and I can certainly see it, Scott, but he gets ready very late. He stays in this position with his hands in front of him until the bowler starts delivering the ball, then moves into position. For someone that does that so late and still takes so many balls so cleanly, incredible. It's a good over there for New Zealand.
They managed to succeed in taking that front court out of play for the most part. And a lot of that came about from Sharma. I agree. This is my first time seeing him bat live. He was exceptional in the field. You're right, 18 years of age. He should be around for a long time. We may well be talking about him as playing 4, 5, 6 World Cups in the future.
From an Australian point of view, I hope he's finished growing because he's huge.
Well, that's what makes it interesting. He's 18 and a big guy, but he's fielding in the most athletic positions. So if he hasn't finished, it might be a bit hard for him to stick in those positions, or he might have to move back a spot.
Well played there off his legs for 2. Off Fitzgerald's bowling.
He's actually renowned as a leg side player. We've seen mostly so far he's hit the ball through the offside, but there, it's the first time they've really strayed and he was up to the task.
Impressive batting so far from these two. Called through for a single and a wild throw from Baker, who chased it down into the corner. That throw had been on target. He might have found Sharma wanting, but he got there so quickly, got rid of it too quickly, and wild into the back corner. Davies trying to make something happen. I think he picked the wrong ball to do that too.
Yeah, I was just going to make a point. The Australians have done really well keeping him quiet. For a guy who's hit the most sevens, managed to stay out of his arc, and you're right, he's picked the wrong ball. He's tried to force it. When in reality, they've actually done really well on that over. And that's what's killing them. It's just trying to force the pace. And that's the scoreboard talking, really. I mean, chasing 150, you sort of feel like you've got to make it happen yourself, and in the end you pick the wrong ball.
It's well played once again from Sharma. Davies going again. That ball probably there to do that too, but again didn't get the elevation on it. Straight to the back and caught.
Yeah, well, you hate speculating on somebody's mindset, but in my eyes, it's when he's looking to win the game by himself. And that's not possible. They were up near 30. If they could have got it to 40 or even 50, you've then given the next pair and the last pair an opportunity to win it. Now it looks almost impossible.
With 1 over remaining in the second pair, New Zealand are still 130 runs shy of victory. We'll just have another look at the dismissal. Just hit a little bit higher up on the bat than he probably thought. Popped up to Vinesh Bennett. An easy catch.
Yeah.
Matt Forrest will bowl his second over now. Still haven't seen Lance McDougall or Vinesh Bennett bowl.
I like the decision as well. Big, tall, strong bowler. Gets you splicing the bat or off the back foot. Makes it very difficult for someone like Victor Davies to hit the back net, which he's proven he's looking for right now.
Smart run from New Zealand. Not sure that Bennett expected them to run. He turned around without throwing and looks a bit surprised that they'd run through. Uncharacteristically snatchy from the Australians. Baker gets a hand to it. Still managed to get to the net for 2 runs. Score moves now to 26.
That's it. Nice cricket. Utilising the bounce, strengths of the bowler. He plays a great shot, takes the easy runs on offer. It's all a little bit too late though, isn't it?
Two balls remaining in the partnership. Australia have once again done the job in this pair thus far. Davies once again trying to go hard. Got up under that ball, hit it straight into his offside net. Easy catch, return catch for the bowler.
Yeah, it was premeditated, wasn't it? Wherever it was, I'm going to look at the back net. Unfortunately, it's a couple of times now he's picked the wrong delivery.
Great fielding from Baker. A good finish to the pair. New Zealand are on 25 at the halfway mark in their innings. I think in need of a minor miracle.
Yeah, they are. That's the long and the short answer.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very difficult now. I can't see it happening, to be perfectly honest. It'll be a 1 in 200 type effort. But the Australians deserve it from what I've seen. Hate to be calling the match already over, but they've been so dominant. 9 dismissals already. You can't win games.
No. Now, you're taking a break from commentary now. We'll
I am.
see you at the end of the game interviewing the captains, no doubt.
Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah, we'll see.
Excellent. Thanks, Scott. So as you can see there, 2 partnerships so far, 11 and 14 respectively. The 9 wickets claimed by the Australian bowling and field. Reece Dean is the destroyer with his first over, 3 for -10. Matthew Flores collecting 3 wickets off his 2. We welcome back Craig Cumming. The news are not a lot better for New Zealand since we last spoke.
Well, it's certainly not better, if not it's worse. A terrible start. Hiveman, Ward, only 11, and they managed to claw it back. Just too many wickets. Comes about through good pressure, doesn't it? Australia have been impressive, like they have been in all the games I've watched today. The under-20s, the women's final.
It's the relentless consistency of the Australian teams is something that anyone that's been to an international event would certainly come to expect from the Australian sides. And I think despite the result in this game so far and in the other finals today, that gap is narrowing between Australia and the other nations. This is not a game that I would have expected New Zealand to post this sort of result in. I think they're a side quite capable of mixing it with Australia, as are all of the other countries, South Africa in particular. So this is an excellent performance from Australia to not only post that many runs, but so far just to be so ruthless with the ball and in the field.
Yeah, they have been. I talked in my last stint when New Zealand were batting. I was wondering if Australia were going to bowl. Well, they have got more pace, but they've also hit the mat harder. They've got more bounce. That means the variations are tougher to play. They've bowled a lot straighter, I feel, as well.
The Australians appealing for a catch as if it had come off the bottom net.
Well, the only way that can go up is it has to go down, because it physically can't go down and hit a net and then come back up at the same angle and be caught. And so unless it's hit a wire which runs along just above the bottom of the net and hit the top of the wire and actually come up. Now, if that's the case, I'd go home if I was New Zealand, because it's just not your day.
Well, no, but it's also not out. If it does come up off the wire, it's not out.
There you go. Well, I don't know why we're even looking at it, because physically the ball's heading down. For it to bounce back up to that angle, it's either going to hit the ground or hit the wire.
Let's have a look. He certainly hit it, so I don't think there's any doubt of that. He smashed it, in fact.
To the wire.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good rule. Because if I was a batter, I'd be absolutely distraught if I was given out like that.
Yeah.
A bit of banter going on between the Australians and the New Zealanders.
It looks to me, I think that the Australians are either being a little bit clever and pretending they're not aware of the wire rule, or aren't actually aware of the wire rule.
Well, they've just cost them about 5 minutes, getting maybe some champagne in their hand the way it's looking, so. But the Australian fielding, you talked about it in the first innings, how good they'll be. Well, they certainly have been. They've taken those half chances that New Zealand weren't able to take, and it creates pressure. New Zealand at the stage now, they're looking for the back net, they're looking to go hard at the ball. They've got to try and find a way to get some momentum. And that just brings wickets as well, because it's high risk. I just think their length's been really impressive, they've bowled, which helps with the pace, but I know if it's a soft length, you call it, in either form of the game, you can get over the top of it, hitting the ground and get it up. But because they've got that little bit of extra pace, there's a bit more height. But like Australian bowlers do, even in outdoor cricket, they seem to hit the pitch harder. They get a little bit more bounce. And it's made it difficult for the New Zealand batters to be able to, one, score off it, but two actually even put it in areas that they want to be able to score. Couple that with some very good fielding. I just wonder, having not seen a lot during the week, or any during the week, let's be fair, I thought New Zealand's fielding was probably subpar, and I actually wondered, I looked around, and they didn't seem to have that quick arm, that quick release. I know they do a lot of training for it, but I look at the Australians, and gee whiz, the release of the ball, but the power of the throw to the non-striker's end is evident, and that also puts doubt in the guy backing up on the running between the wickets as well.
Doesn't matter if you hit a down-up shot in high into the net. If that falls at any rate to a fielder, it's going to go to the stumps very quickly. So there's never really a comfortable run against an Australian side, and I think you're right, Craig. The New Zealand side didn't show that. At the same time, whilst the New Zealand's field didn't look to be anywhere near as sharp as the Australians have been, the bowlers certainly didn't create enough opportunities for them. Yeah,
and it's always the way. Sometimes you can get into the fielders, can't you, a little bit and have a go, but the fielding comes on the back of good bowling. It supports it, it's there to help it. And also even here now, New Zealand 31 in the 9th over. Really look like it's tough work, but when you're chasing a total, you know, you've got to need 150 odd to win. It's a challenge because it's always in the back of your mind. We talk about batting first, putting a total on the board. Australia never really looked at the scoreboard. They only ever looked at the scoreboard to see how they're going. New Zealand, when they walked out, well, I think we spoke earlier, they were looking at the scoreboard and they're seeing pressure. It bounces back at them. And when you lose wickets in your first partnership, like in any form, it just puts so much pressure on the guys watching and also the guys out in the middle.
It's a good shot there from Davies. A little bit too full from Lyle Teskey and put away.
Oh, it's a lovely shot. It's a great shot. In or outdoor, the on drive was just hit pure against the swing.
We still have not seen Dinesh Bennett or Lance McDougall bowling over.
Why would that be?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's obviously a tactic from Ross Gregory, but it hasn't been that common an approach throughout the tournament so far. And it's certainly not a case of hiding them. They're both wicket-taking bowlers. Davies goes hard at it again. Hits a 7.
Wow, the maximum. That's a great shot. He's got a real liking for hitting down towards the back net. Even better shot than the one went along the ground. Beautiful. He had to get in his crease. He dived. Maybe a direct hit would have had him, but he made it. Good over for New Zealand.
Certainly is. If they can keep this up, they might give themselves a chance at that minor miracle.
Well, it's good batting. The key is, again, Australia only lost 2 wickets in 16 overs, 2 run-outs. New Zealand have got themselves in a position where it's sort of 2 steps forward, then 1 back. They lose a wicket, lose their 5 runs.
Played from Davies. A good start. Through 10 overs, New Zealand are on 48.
Yeah, they put on 23, these two, and they're 2 overs, and that's going along. That's the rate they needed to go along, or everyone needed to go along. And sometimes chasing, the games have all changed. 10 and over is not that hard, 12 and over is not that hard, but sometimes the inexperience of chasing those sort of totals against good bowling is the tough part. If you just break it down to ball and ball, if you're scoring off 90% of the balls and you're hitting the side net, it adds up very quickly. We saw the Australians do it. Maybe that's when New Zealand will look back. Not saying the game's over by any stretch of the imagination, but just too many dot balls so far in the first 2 partnerships, and then too many wickets. You turn those dot balls into runs, you keep those wickets in hand. Try and find out how many wickets were lost in the first partnership between Hyman and Ward, because they made 11. I think from memory there was at least 5 dismissals.
I think it may have been 5 for them and 4 for the second pair. They start with 2. Vinesh Bennett finally bowling it over.
Well, all of a sudden that's 45 runs. New Zealand on 95. Australia only lost 2 wickets, so they only lost 10 runs in their total. So New Zealand could be on 95, 85, 90 if they eliminated those wickets. It's beautiful bowling. Big off cutter by Bennett. It's easy to say that though, isn't it? If only. If you hadn't lost the wickets, well, you'd win most games if you don't lose more wickets, but...
Correct.
It shows you how well Australia batted as well. But I'm interested to see Bennett here.
Well bowled once again.
Yeah, fast off cutters. But the key behind the first 2 have been the length. You can't get forward and smother it. You can't quite get back and get in behind it to create a little bit of room.
Third ball now. Punished. Davies.
Well, interesting, he went for a leg spinner, which probably I think was a mistake. 2 dot balls with the one going away to the left-hander. You probably think maybe that's the best option.
Really well bowled from Bennett. It's a very good delivery to a right-handed batsman.
Well, it just cramps him, doesn't it? He's trying to get back, and 2 fielders in the front court there for the off-spin towards them, so you want to stay on top of it. You maybe go to off-stump to try and hit it into the offside, but it's very tough. Great example there. Back of a length, trying to work off the hip. 2 fielders there. Not only is he worried about hitting the ball, he's worried about the fielder in close. He could get caught. Straight away, you've lost the ability to even think about scoring runs.
Third ball once again.
Surely he won't bowl leggy.
Fielding from Rhys Dennis.
Bennett's been impressive today.
Rhys Dennis.
Bennett, sorry.
Bennett, right.
He's did a good job opening the batting. Put on 46 with Fitzgerald. Very emotional character too, from what I've watched of him.
Certainly very passionate about his game. Puts a lot in.
Absolutely. He'll be spent at the end of this. Even watching, I was watching him watching his team. He was always up, he was clapping, he was always talking. I think I've seen more high fives today than I've seen in my life.
You can see there some of the Australian under-20 girls watching the Australian men play. They have already earned today their title as world champions, defeating New Zealand earlier.
Yeah, couple that with the under-20s. Australian women's really become a trans-Tasman day. New Zealand v Australia for the finals.
Certainly has been.
Fortunately for New Zealand, could be zipping 4.
Look, I'm not going to lie and pretend that I'm in any way, shape or form disappointed by that.
I wouldn't expect you to be, Cam. I would not expect you to be. Another great shot down the ground.
This is Rob Fitzgerald continuing for Australia. In the 12th over. New Zealand still some 90 runs short of their total. 89 in fact.
Noticing you spoke about the New Zealand fielders, the front court, about them jumping at the ball. They're trying to stop the ball. They're trying to predict, but they're off their feet. The Australians seem to just give themselves a little bit more time, and they're actually set. Then they've got a chance to make a decision and get their hand in. It probably comes back to obviously the bowling being very good.
Definitely.
Yeah, another great example. Superb bit of fielding by Baker. At the side net, he just picked up hesitation between the New Zealand batters. He just flicked it straight over the top.
I was pointing out earlier a wild throw that he made up to the top, but he's one of the best at getting that ball right, either hitting the stumps or right next to it from any position. And he just proved it then.
What he did there well is he actually had to get round his left armour and open the hips up. These two have played well. It just, again, halts the momentum.
Two runs there. Great delivery from Rob Fitzgerald.
No, just also one thing, I heard Scott Storris talking early on, and opening play that has been done for pace. New Zealand haven't quite had the same balance with their batting. A lot of balls hitting them on the legs.
And another good partnership from an Australian perspective. New Zealand 63 after 12 overs, and they have 4 overs left to score 87 runs. And look, I have seen those kind of totals chased down before, but never at this level. Absolutely never at this level. And certainly not against a team as strong as Australia.
No, that's right. That was a good partnership with New Zealand. The context of the game was 38. And that was including a couple of 3 wickets, I think, from memory. Just the one out, that's the difference.
Scott Davies, impressive batting, the shining light in the New Zealand innings to take 29 runs, put 38 runs on the board. Under normal circumstances, batting third in a final like that in pursuit of a total, that sort of score would be fantastic. Not the case. Now, heading into the last pair, there's one name missing so far from this bowling sheet, and that's Lance McDougall. I wonder if he will not be bowling with some injury, or if he's actually bowling 2 overs to this pair.
Well, he's definitely out there.
Fellows and Joseph have the responsibility of bringing the New Zealand innings home. They will face Rhys Dearness, the destroyer.
Fellows is one of New Zealand stars. He's done very well with the ball. Struggled a little bit with the bat in this World Cup. They both know each other very well, though, from this club, playing on their home court.
On third ball, straight away, Rhys Dearness continuing to bowl very, very well. Another good ball. Fellows is up to the task, just got it high in the front court there for a single.
Well, there's talk at the heart when Australia batting that Dearness could be injured, whether or not he'd come out and bowl. We had a bit of a conversation. He's certainly done that, and he's been mightily impressive. Tell you what would be tough if you're picking the man of the match.
Yeah, there are certainly plenty of candidates. Obviously, Vinesh Bennett and Rob Fitzgerald coming out, banging 46 to open. Both of those amazing batting performance. Rhys Dearness, on the other hand, part of that partnership with Lyle Teskey, then coming out and getting 3 for 10, minus 10 off his first over.
Yeah. I'd say he may just be leading the points race if I was picking it as well. Good shot there by Joseph.
Was an impressive shot. A good shot there from Fellows. Dennis with 2 balls remaining.
So the car that we're coming. Is he taking it to the airport?
Great piece of fielding again from the Australians. A good slap in from McDougall. We have had a review. It wasn't a direct hit, so I'm not quite sure whether or not it'll be out. Certainly be a very interesting replay to take a look at. Great piece of fielding, just too wide of the stumps. How quickly can Teskey take the bails off? I think that's still out.
Yeah, I think the question is the bail off. Yes, it is.
And that's out.
Sorry, I had a slight interruption there. Scott Styris has lost his suit.
He's lost his
suit.
Oh, fantastic.
I don't know why he was coming to ask me. It's a bit big for me. Just again, another example. If this game was close, but just taking half chances. Australia really enjoying themselves. The bench is nice and relaxed. It's always nice when you know you've got the game in the bag heading into the final part.
And that's another wicket for Australia. Look, I have to say, Craig, there were plenty of occasions this week where the Australian side would have thought, look, this is going to be a real challenge. The New Zealand invitational side pushed the Australian side on both occasions that they played each other. It certainly made Australia look beatable. South Africa, in their games, managed to do the same thing. You know, Australia, by no stretch of the imagination, looked invincible during this tournament. They've certainly put up an invincible performance today. Sometimes quality in sides, it's good for them to be pushed in round-robin play. Yeah.
It makes them stay switched on. It makes them realise that they're not unbeatable, that they're going to have to work really hard. The other thing also, they haven't got to this part of the tournament without being tested.
So they're ready.
They're ready. You know, they've been put under pressure. Sometimes nothing worse than going through round robin, through knockout games, and you win quite easily. Because when you get to the big moments, you're not sure how you're going to be able to step up. So they've been challenged during the week, which is good for them. It's kept them interested. They haven't got themselves where they've actually become complacent. And they look very driven today. I watched them when they turned up. They look very focused. The captain looked very relaxed, very calm before the game when interviewed him. He spoke about the inexperience of this side, but he also told me that they had a lot of belief in their ability.
As McDougall actually bowls his first over of the innings. Should mention something about Ross Gregory and manager Billy Floris's management of this side in terms of rotating the players through all of the games. Australian side has plenty of depth, no question, but the fact that they've managed to get everybody within the side reasonable time on the court, plenty of those opportunities to be tested and challenged, as you say, and stay fit and ready for this game. All 12 Australian players fit and ready to play.
That's a balancing act, and that's where good management produces good cricket sides. I spoke today, and something I've really, the emotion that goes into a game. I'm sure if you're playing over a whole week, it's a very good over here. You can't physically always keep getting yourself up. Every day, or twice a day sometimes, you just run out of emotional juices.
That's something, managing those levels is something that I've noticed during this tournament the three leading nations have been good at. In that games, second or third game of the day, it's just been a professional, cool, calm and collected effort. They're not playing every game like it's a grand final. On the other hand, the plate division nations, a little bit different. because every ball, every game means something to them because they won't necessarily be in this game. So fairly sharp contrast there in how teams approach and what they're building towards.
That's right. That's right. And you know, the good teams. Just looking at the run out there. Flies very wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, good sides, good players in all sports. Emotionally, very stable. I noticed very much with the under-20s. They were very up, you know, they were up, but then all of a sudden when things didn't go, they go down. Just start riding that wave. This is a great over. Great over. It ends. New Zealand 61 off 14.
I'd be interested to know whether or not holding Lance McDougall to bowl 2 overs in the last pair was part of the plan all along. So I can imagine that if New Zealand were close to chasing down whatever total Australia had set, having Lance McDougall bowl 2 of these overs at the end, very hard to get him away from runs.
He's got that great ability. He goes around the wicket quite wide and then he bowls like big leg cutters. So the ball's always angling into you, and a couple of times fellows went to leave it and it sort of hits and actually turns towards him, hit him in the hip. So what he's doing is eliminating one side of the park, and he can actually bowl quite a long way outside leg stump. You actually take the offside out of play. Very hard for a batter.
I think we may have just seen Vinesh Bennett describe to the batsman exactly what was about to happen. That's a little bit cheeky.
Yeah. Teskey getting a bit of grief from his teammates. He just missed one that rolled straight in front of him. He's trying to say it turned after it bounced, but I don't think any of the younger players are buying it. So there's a bit of fun happening now.
And almost a run out there.
Well, it could have been a stumping chance as well, and then also run out.
Australian crowd getting a wave out of the Australian coach.
Great example, that ball of the length again from Bennett. Back of a length, he's getting it not too wide. Joseph's trying to get forward, but it's still bouncing, and he actually can't manipulate it anywhere. So that's why I think this Australian side, from what I've noticed, is also very good. A lot of depth. Joseph trying to use his feet now, but Bennett's still very quick through the air. It reminds me a little bit in the outdoor of someone like Colin Miller, who used to bowl those fast off spinners. Then he'd slow down and bowl spin, wouldn't he? But can't use your feet, can't get to the ball on the full.
We'll take 2 runs there. Vinesh Bennett is actually the incumbent Alan Wilson medalist. So the Alan Wilson medal is the Australian, effectively the indoor cricket version of the Alan Border medal.
Right.
So the award goes to the best international Australian cricketer. He's won that 2 years in a row, just the second person to win the award twice. And his performance in today's grand final just proves why.
Yeah, no surprise. When you got a team of 8, sometimes you're only as good as your weakest link, especially in this form. We watched a couple of games today where it was pretty even for a lot, but the women's game, it was 1 over, went for 25. Sometimes that can be the difference between winning and losing. This Australian side, I feel, having watched them bowl and bat, I couldn't even tell you who the most inexperienced player is or who the weakest player is, not meaning in a bad way. But sometimes, you know, it's obvious you might be a little slightly light on a bit of bowling, or someone in the batting's job is not quite as strong as others. I couldn't name one.
2 runs come from the final ball of what was an impressive over from Vinesh Bennett. New Zealand now 68 with just 1 over remaining in the World Cup final. Australia just 8 balls away from retaining the world title.
Yeah, this is when they get excited. They'll be counting them down. Internally, there'll be a lot of emotions. They'll be getting very excited. already a bit of backslapping going on, and saying that's been happening most of the day, but it's a different feeling this time. It's a feeling of they know that they're going to be winners of the World Cup in 2014.
And Lance McDougall, second over to this pair, final over of the match.
I just wonder if also they've done a bit of technical work here, and actually maybe they know what the New Zealand last pair are going to be, what their strengths are, and they know maybe Fallow struggles a bit on his legs, and this is the perfect bowling to someone like that.
Knowing the level of analysis that Ross Gregory has employed this tournament and how strategic he and Billy Floros are about these things, I'd say that's 100% certain.
Well, I'm just looking at the amount of dot balls that they're facing. They can't get him away. He's pitching it outside leg stump. Finally, Fellows gets one away. There's a chance for a run out. And he's been given, I think. It's tactically brilliant, and they're getting the rewards. Don't have the statistics in front of me, but the amount of dot balls to these two. See the split screen out.
Great piece of fielding once again from Rob Fitzgerald, proving why he is regarded as one of the best sweeper fielders in that position. It has been for a long time.
Yeah, that just adds a couple more points to maybe him being the man of the match. Yeah, maybe New Zealand can look at something like this, the tactics employed and the way McDougall's bowling here. He's not express pace, but just the way he's getting the angle. It just creates run-outs. It creates pressure. It's pairing now, -5. They've actually looked like they've had no answers to this sort of bowling.
Yeah, I don't think you can sum it up any other way.
No. With 2 balls to go. It's on the countdown for Australia to be crowned world champions again here in the Hart Valley. They will look forward to tonight.
Another wicket.
Well, it doesn't matter, but again, I think this is tactically brilliant. And whoever's come up with it, if it is a tactic, they should be given a couple of those high fives that have been thrown around.
It's one thing to have the tactic and another to execute it. And
Too right.
the Australians have executed it flawlessly. As we see the final ball of the World Cup. It is a dot ball. The umpire, Jason Rhodes, signal over, and Australia are once again the world champions.
Well, the teammates are all running through, the management are running past us, they're getting in a huddle, they're excited. This means a lot to them. Not easy to come when you're defending champions. You've never lost a final. It means you could have become the first team never to win it, but they've been too good today. They've outplayed New Zealand with all 3 facets of the game. They started brilliantly with the bat, they've then continued it on. They come out, their bowlers have been excellent, and their fielding has been nothing short of outstanding. New Zealand, well, they'll be disappointed, but they've done well to get themselves through to the final.
They certainly have, and Craig, you're going to duck off now to catch our captains for a post-match interview. Can only agree with Craig Cummings' assessment of that match. It's an absolutely phenomenal performance from Australia. You can see them, the joy on their faces. I'm not sure that they would have expected, even themselves, quite such an emphatic victory, although I have little doubt that they were expecting to win today. But to post 149 runs batting first in a World Cup final and then defend it in the manner that they've done today just demonstrates why Australia remains the standard when it comes to indoor cricket at this level. Have to take nothing away from New Zealand, although they didn't come up with the result they wanted today, and it probably wasn't as competitive a match as they would have hoped. They are a quality team, let down a little bit by some illness during the week. But if they manage to keep that core group of players together, particularly the likes of Sharma and Davies, if they can stay as part of this New Zealand side into the future, they'll do well to be competitive in future World Cups. You can see the officials standing by to present the trophy to the captain. Here, we'll just run through the scorecard there again for you. The one shining light in the New Zealand innings, Scott Davies, 29 runs, batted really, really well. In that second partnership, Shanil Sharma was certainly a standout. Victor Davies, -5, probably doesn't reflect his innings that much. He had no choice but to go hard at the ball, and it resulted in a few wickets. But partnerships of 11, 14, 38 and -8 for a total of 55. Just speaks to this amazing bowling performance by Australia. Reece Dearness, stand up and take a bow. 5 for -15. 3 and -10 of that coming in the first over of the innings. An absolutely remarkable performance from the Australian bowlers, as we see the Australian captain holding aloft the World Cup once again in Australia's hands. It's a deserved reward for an amazing performance across the tournament. Congratulations to Ross Gregory and his team. Ross is a long-serving Australian coach, and you can see him now waving on the rest of the Australian teams. Joining the Australian men are the world champion under-20 girls, under-20 boys, and the Australian Open women. Marks a clean sweep for the Australian sides at this tournament. Certainly in line with their hopes. It certainly achieves the expectations of the Australian squad. Of course, the results not only 4-0 but emphatically in each final in favour of Australia. Congratulations to all of the players and the coaching staff for putting together an excellent campaign. I know that all of the other competing countries will come back to the next World Cup a little bit more in the tank, a little bit more experience to know what they need to do in order to beat the likes of Australia at this level. Congratulations also to Jason Rhodes, who officiated somewhat unbelievably his first ever Open Men's Grand Final at a World Cup. May or may not be the last time we see Jason in an event like this. I said earlier, I'll say it again, is the standard when it comes to umpiring, not only at the Australian National Championships, but also at world events such as this one. So congratulations to Jason on a marvellous tournament, and indeed to all of the umpires who have done a marvellous job throughout the week. And here's a sight that I'm sure all of the spectators, other than the Australian supporters, probably didn't want to see. The Australians obviously enjoying their clean sweep. I'll throw now to Craig Cumming, who has with him the Australian captain, Lyle Teskey. It's a little bit noisy in here. I'm not sure that they heard it.
Well, we spoke before the match. You talked about some guys being a little bit inexperienced, but you've left your best performance to last.
It seems that way, mate. Our batting today was just exceptional. I mean, the boys came in, did the job, got the runs on the board, and that was, always going to be too many. So
it's always tough heading into a final, but your opening partnership was just simply superb, and it looked like it just relaxed everyone. Then you just went out and played your game.
Yeah, Vanessa and Fitzy are just amazing. They took the full force of the New Zealand guys, and just everyone else could relax and come out and play their disciplines after that. So it was fantastic from them.
I talked about the length that you guys bowled. It looked like you bowled back at the length, you change up work. Is that something you spent a lot of time working on?
Oh, definitely. I mean, over the course of the week, you get around and look at other players and see what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then try and put it into practice when you come into the grand final, and we happened to do it today, so it was good.
You've been involved in a few of these. How does this one rate?
Oh, they never get old, mate. They're always good. It's my 4th one now, so it's exceptional, mate. It's a great feeling.
Well, I'll let you go enjoy the whole Australian squad. Congratulations and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. It's never easy when you've got to do a speech after losing performance, but Australia just too good today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, like I said to Lyle, they're a well-drilled machine. I mean, they bowled in the right areas, and unfortunately, we weren't good enough.
Did you believe at half-time that you could chase down those runs?
We honestly did. We thought if we got off to a good start, set a good foundation, that we could actually chase them down, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be.
Was it a case a little bit with the ball that you couldn't get your fielders into play and you couldn't get those run-out opportunities? Does that come down to how well they batted, or was it a wee bit to do with the execution from you guys?
I think it's a bit of both, to be fair. I think we bowled okay in patches, but they were very good. I mean, we hit our lines, and they managed to still put them up in the springs, so there's sometimes you can't do much about it, but I think we were guilty of straying off our lines a few times.
They're a very good all-round side, backed up by their fielding. Must have been difficult, but the guys should be proud of themselves. You're happy with the way your week's gone and where you've ended up?
Yeah, I mean, we've been through a bit of adversity. Everyone had the flu and a few injuries, but I mean, at the end of the day, we came down to one game. We had one shot to be world champions, and they were better than us on the day. So
I know it's tough, but we really appreciate your time and well done.
Cheers, great. Thanks, guys.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the 2 captains from the final. So following victories from Australia in the under-20 girls, boys and open women's earlier in the day, Australia have won the open men's world final once again, destroying New Zealand by 94 runs in the end. A massive victory for Australia. And congratulations to Lyle Teskey, Ross Gregory and all of the team. From us here at Hutt Indoor Sports here in Wellington, firstly, for Scott Styris, Craig Cumming, and the rest of the broadcast team, as well as all of the staff here at the centre, I'm Cameron Walter. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
You hear me? You good?
What about those guys?
Just get in front of them. You okay with your lines? Guys, go. Yeah, you ready? Just when I'm ready. So it's been a clean sweep by the Aussies in all 4 grades here in Wellington. The silver lining is that New Zealand have made the finals in all those grades as well. Let's hope that maybe our Black Caps can go one better and get to the final and win it in 2015. This is our coverage ending here from Wellington. I'll do one more.
Making the final all 4 grades was been a superb tournament. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of the catching. Just say, you know, all 4 grades, made the final, it was been a superb tournament. Hope you enjoyed our coverage.
Well, it's been a clean sweep by Australia here in Wellington. They won all 4 grades. The silver lining is that New Zealand made those finals as well. It's been a superb tournament. It's been a superb week. Let's hope our Black Caps can go one better when it comes to reaching the final. Well, thank you for your company. We look forward to seeing you next time.
You want to hold it?
Slow down a bit. Well, it's been a superb tournament here in Wellington. Australia, well, they've clean swept all 4 grades. The silver lining is that the New Zealand sides were in those finals as well. Let's hope that our Black Caps maybe can go one better when they play in the World Cup in February, March. That's us, done and done here, Wellington. We look forward to seeing you next time. I'll just grab my water out. So disappointing for New Zealand in the men's final. Meanwhile,
so you've just come off the men's final interviews, so it's a wrap. So disappointment then for the New Zealand in the men's final there. Meanwhile, the Kiwi women's team had an equally tough challenge against the Australian favourites in their final, right? And then, well, as well as winning the senior final, Australia won. We haven't seen pictures that won the Australia's under-20 world title against the Kiwis. In the men's under-20 final, yes, you guessed it, New Zealand took on Australia again.
and lost.
Are you guys, you want to go with that? You ready to go? So, we're recording, right? Just go whenever you want, mate.
So disappointment for New Zealand in the men's final. Meanwhile, the Kiwi...
Go again.
So disappointment for New Zealand in the men's final. Meanwhile, the Kiwi women's team had an equally tough challenge against the Australian favourites in their final. Can we do it again?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can't read your own. As well as winning the senior ball, Australia won the women's under-20 world... Under-20, what's that word?
Then catch us fly.
Australia won the women's under-20 world title. That's all he does. He is he's our final against. As well as winning the senior final, Australia won the women's under-20 world title against the Kiwis. Can I write this because I can't read the fucking right.
So just have it, honestly, just you'll be fine. Rigger, if it makes you feel any better, Rigger hates my writing.
Oh, mate, hates it. I can't read it.
He's ready to kill me.
Yeah, I'm halfway there. I've got it written in it.
No one can do that.
As well as winning the senior final, Australia won the women's under-20 world final against the Kiwis. And in the men's under-20 final, yes, you guessed it, New Zealand took on Australia again.
One more. Is that a bye day? Okay, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Thank you very much, everybody.